This is a story I didn't really want to come back to. It popped up in my YouTube feed, and so I'm just going to cover a small portion of it because I think it's really important um, for women to realize that this sort of male mentality is out there. It's not everybody. Not all men, hashtag not all men. But this is the sort of teachings that Andrew Tate was doing. And so let's talk about it here for a second. Because I think we as women have experienced this type of behavior from several men, not all men, hashtag not all men, but we've experienced it. And it's this level of misogyny, patriarchy is shocking. It's shocking.
Okay, I'm not going to get into like an extensive background on these particular individuals that make up Fresh and Fit, but essentially they have a website and a training course and a podcast, consult lonely men who are trying to talk to women. I kid you not, he goes by Fresh Prince CEO, which you couldn't even come up with an original name, dude, okay? We got the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and I guess we got the Fresh Prince of Nowhere, okay? And this guy who is the fit of Fresh and Fit, his name is Myron. I cannot not hear Fab Fit Fun every time I think of Fresh and Fit. So Mr. Fab Fit Funyan over here does the majority of the talking. When you scroll down on their website, you know those like early 2000s like infomercials that like you turn on, they come on at like 3 in the morning, and they're so ridiculous. They usually start off with like a black and white video. Are you tired of dropping all your pots and pans in the kitchen?
Has food sticking to your pan gotten completely out of hand?
And anytime someone starts with, are you tired of, I instantly can't take you seriously. That immediately tips you off that they about to like sell you some snake oil. Are you tired of not getting results with girls? Playing life on someone else's terms but not yours? What if I told you you can finally tune out dishonest online gurus that provide short-term solutions to long-term problems so they can no longer steal your money? So don't trust the other online gurus. Trust these online gurus because they're special.
Right.
They make a business of telling women that they're not special, and these guys somehow think that they're special.
You're not special. You're like other girls. That's the
I'm
key.
not special.
You're like other women that are
So
like...
what makes you special then?
Oh, you can't
Transforming
even
Sims to pimps. Bros, brah, bro, Tato, chip, okay? The professors are here, to give you all your protein shakes of knowledge. And they go transform you from a simp to a pimp player. Pimp. It's giving 1972, like, you know, those like giant like tractor trucks, and they got like the mud flaps with like the naked silhouette of the lady. And then he says, all I'm offering is the truth. Capital letters were deployed here, okay? So he means it. Yo, look at this. They got customer results on the website, and tell me why. This is Mr. Fit. And I guess you don't have enough results photos because you had to put your own picture on the website, and you're calling yourself a customer. I'm sorry. Now let's read about Fresh and Fit. We advise, but you brag about how much money you got. Like, surely you could have hired someone to proofread. We advice men? You do know that this is the wrong word, right? Who wants to come learn from someone who doesn't even... Together, Myron Gaines and Fresh have 30 years of experience in the dating market. Well, that's just sad. You got 30 years experience in a dating market and not a successful relationship to show.
Yeah, seriously. Like, literally, if you're trying to advertise yourself as a dating guru, like, well, let's see, what's the angle here, right, Swoop? Is the angle that they know how to just have like short-term relationships, and so they're like, oh, I've dated so many women, I have so much sexual experience, look at me, right? But they obviously don't have relationship experience because they can't hold down a long-term relationship, right? Is that where we're going?
Oh.
Whether women want to accept it or not, they know deep down their value is 1,000% derived from the way they look. I'm going to say that one more time for you guys, all right? Because I know I might have some feminists or some other career women that might, that's not true, baby, that's not true. Okay, women's value is 100% determined by the way that they look, okay? That is their primary agency. Everything else comes after.
Well, here's the thing. Relationships are generally built on physical chemistry, right? Like that you're attracted to each other. But that's a really weird way to talk about relationships. It's 1,000%. Your entire value is 1,000% on the way you look. Okay, so what I'm taking away from this is that you just want women who have a certain look about them, maybe a certain body shape, maybe they do their makeup a certain way, but it sounds to me like you do not value personality and actual intellectual connection whatsoever, right? That's where we're going.
Sorry, that's just... It's just so stupid. Okay, just this whole the Petty University, roll the intro. Here we go. Professor Petty has entered the chat, and she has thoughts. Okay, that's just how this is going to go the whole time. So let's just run this back really quick.
Whether women want to accept it or not.
Whether women want to accept it or not.
Right.
It always makes me laugh. Mac and cheese over here. They like to start it off with whether women want to accept it or not, whether women are listening to it or not. They do this because they think in their heads if they speak with like this really like direct, authoritative, here I am, I'm a man, and I'm going to tell you the way it is. They think that if they just kind of bark really loud about something, that you're inherently just going to like think they must know what they're talking about. Just because someone says whether women, all women, there are billions of women, bitch, you better be listening, okay? Women, woman, you listening, woman? Are you listening, woman? Whether you want to accept it or not, all billions of you. This one single...
Yeah, that's the thing. These dudes are trying to get incels to find submissives, right? Women who will just bend to their will, who are unintelligent, probably do not have degrees, do not know how to fend for themselves in life, and buy their own property, buy their own cars, and take care of themselves, right? So these guys are just like, well, the only women that are worthy of us are the ones who we can throw around our house, beat up, sexually assault, and domestic violence. I'm gonna fucking say it. I don't know what the hell YouTube's doing here with the why all these live streamers have to like censor themselves, but these are like normal terms that we can discuss. Like we should discuss, we should have conversations about these topics. And these men are looking for submissives. They're not looking for intelligent women who can provide for themselves, who can live by themselves, and can date in such a way that we don't need a man to provide for us, right?
Individual man has all the facts and all the truth, and he knows everything about women.
Whether women want to accept it or not,
I'm listening.
they know deep down their value is 1,000% derived from the way they look.
1,000%.
Let's say that one more time for you guys, all right? Because I know
I'm sorry, the stupid sound effects, the record scratch, it's giving 1992. And he's the one controlling that, okay? Like, he pushes these little buttons in the little studio. He thinks he popped off with whatever it was that he just said, and he pushes the little record scratch, and that's supposed to let you know that what he's saying is facts.
Because I know I might have some feminists or some other career women that might, that's not true, baby, that's not true. Okay.
What Bonnie and Clyde often do here is they like to use words like feminist or career woman as a derogatory slang term for women who don't agree with their thoughts, or women who like are earning their own money and like paying their own bills and shit. So by doing things like that, they're constantly like taking these little digs to try to make any woman who might be listening or men who are listening to them think this about women, that if you're a career woman, then there's something wrong with you because you can't understand this mansplaining situation about the way it is with women. It's just a manipulation tactic. It's to try to bait career women into being upset about this stuff so that they can then say, oh, you got triggered. You're going to see that they use the word triggered more than I think I have ever heard anybody use.
Well, and also, he's basically not giving any examples of any long-term relationships he's had, or discussing whether or not he's raising children. So clearly he's unsuccessful in his love life if he can't give examples of the fact that he has loving relationships with his children, or that he's been in long-term relationships, right? Like, he can't provide any examples of this.
That word in my entire life. Then they also label women who disagree with them. Any woman who disagrees with them is a feminist. I'm going to do a whole segment on feminism and what the word feminist actually means, what it doesn't mean, because these guys don't actually even know what that word means. And
Women's value is 100% determined.
I guess it's 100% now, not 1,000%. So his math got a little better.
Determined by the way that they look, okay? That is their primary agency. Everything else comes after, okay?
100%, 1,000%, whatever number this bitch decides to choose in the moment. All our value is only derived from the way that we as women look, which we all know is a bunch of bullshit. Now, if I were to play by...
Yeah, seriously, like, I've seen some really ugly married couples that have been together for like 40, 50 years. Like, give me a break. I've seen some really fat men and fat women married together for many, many years, totally happy because they're on the same page. Like, this guy is so goddamn stupid. Oh my god.
Their rules or game or whatever this thing is that they're doing, then I could easily list a whole mess of women, feminists, who are extraordinarily successful, and it has absolutely nothing to do with their looks. Now, I don't personally are looking at them and thinking that they're unattractive or anything, but I know that these guys, based on what they have listed as a criteria of a hot girl, I can guarantee you that they don't find these women that I'm thinking about right now as hot. So if you think about like Oprah Winfrey,
Right.
Oprah is one of the most successful humans, man, women, anything, on the planet. Rocky and Bullwinkle here will never, ever touch the success of Oprah Winfrey, right? And I guarantee...
Well, and also she had a very famous long-term relationship with, I can't remember the name of that dude, but like everybody knew of him and they had been together forever. Like, seriously, Oprah went up and down in her weight, and obviously, you know, having intelligence and being able to be successful is also attractive. God damn, these guys are so stupid.
You that Ren and Stimpy here think that Oprah is really unattractive. Therefore, that would fly in the face. Oprah is just one example that flies in the face of them saying that women's 1,000% their value is derived in their looks. That is a bunch of bullshit. They like to speak in these broad generalities about all women, all men. It's weak and it's an unintelligent response to the way that life actually works. There are a zillion people who say that Lady Gaga is, they use the word ugly. I don't use that word. I don't want to talk about people's looks. I am not going to talk about this guy's hairline. I'm not going to say anything, okay? The industry by and large says that Lady Gaga is ugly. Lady Gaga is one of the most successful recording artists of all.
She has one of the greatest voices of all time in pop music. I think that probably the reason that people might come against her looks is her nose. But like, the thing is, you can't, when you're a singer, you can't do anything. You cannot have a nose job, because it could totally change your vocal cords. It could change the way you sound. And that is her moneymaker. That's like her greatest gift. So, and by the way, I mean, even if she's a butterface, which I don't know that she necessarily is, she keeps herself totally in shape. And you know what? That doesn't even matter. I don't care if she was like plumping up like Kelly Clarkson. Really don't care. As long as she's capable of still producing great tunes, and you know, if she has a great personality, then I'm sure she's doing just fine in the love zone.
Time, dare I say it, J.K. Rowling, who has obviously said some things. J.K. Rowling is one of the most successful authors of all time. So a woman's looks are not actually entirely her value. It's such a small-minded way.
I don't know that I would use J.K. Rowling as an example, considering that she's a TERF, but okay, let's go.
Of thinking. But again, he thinks if he barks really loud about it, if he shouts about it on a microphone and he says, women just can't understand, that would be his response to me. Is like, you're a woman, you just can't understand. You can't talk to people or have rational, logical conversations. They'll just straw man their way out of it because I'm a woman and therefore I just can't understand it. And I can easily say the same thing, right? I could play that same game. You're a man. Men can't understand that you just can't think critically.
Women know deep down that their looks define their value. There's a reason why they take care of what, you know, they wear makeup.
The other thing that he is completely short-sighted on, for them it's all black and white. Everything is black and white, which no, life is these shades of gray. That's just what it is. There's always nuance. But the thing that they do so often is ignore any nuance in life, which is a very low intellect way of thinking. I don't know how else to say it, but it is. So they ignore all of those generational, societal developments over time where a woman was told that her only value was in her looks. Anyone who has any basic critical thinking skills knows that that is not true, but we have lived in a society for centuries that has tried to make women feel like they have to present themselves as pretty objects for a man's desire. Society has now grown up. She's matured, okay? And so that way of thinking is very archaic, it's very limited, it's very small-minded. They obviously have not grown out of that way of thinking because it does not benefit them, because they derive more benefit from preaching at other small-minded individuals. This kind of thinking has been around forever. It's quite boring.
Because they know that their value is determined by the way they look.
The thing that is like really gets me with Fresh and Easy over here is that I don't know what bubble they are living in reality, and this is like quite provable if you just step outside. The vast majority of women are not wearing makeup. There is a world outside of Miami. You should try to explore it sometime. Or maybe not. I don't know that the rest of the society needs to be exposed to this.
I almost never wear makeup. Even on my live streams, I'm usually not wearing makeup. I might put it on if I'm like going to a dinner, like a family function or a date, or going to a karaoke bar or something like that. But I almost never wear makeup because it's really not good for your skin anyway to wear it. It seeps into your pores. It gives you acne. Like, why bother with that? Especially, like, ultimately, when you're with somebody, they're gonna see you without your makeup on. You can't wear it constantly, right? You're gonna wake up in the morning, have a fresh, clean face because you washed it the night before. They're gonna see you without your makeup on. So what a dumbass thing to say.
How to kill all mosquitoes in the area at night.
Let's look at some gems here.
I tell guys all the time, if a girl cheats on you, she's effectively dead to you. You need to get rid of her immediately because she has to get to a certain place in her mindset to be able to bring herself to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Not true. Again, they do this thing. They speak in these broad generalities of all the billions of women on the planet. We are a monolith that all operate exactly the same, and they will say that that is the only truth. There are a lot of women who will cheat, and it's not an emotional thing at all.
The thing is that men don't really ask for much from women. We really don't. We're very simple. We want you to be compliant, not give us
We don't ask for much. We just need you to be compliant. I gotta play that again because that is so stupid. He is so triggered.
The thing is that men don't really ask for much from women. We really don't. We're very simple. We want you to be compliant, not give us a headache, give us peace.
He really thinks that he did something there. The minimum they expect is for a woman to completely diminish and erase herself entirely to be fully subservient and compliant to the man. So he paints that as, we're really not asking for a lot, just that you be 100% compliant to what a man wants you to do, because the man is too lazy to just create an equal partnership, to have an actually healthy relationship because he's too lazy. He's living in these archaic views of the past. When society has evolved and is leaving men like this behind, that is why they're lashing out. It's a straight up manipulation tactic is all it is. He's trying to make it sound like it's nothing when really it's asking for the entirety of your life and soul. I think there's a clip of one of them saying, I want your soul.
They look at you as, okay, he's paying a need that I have, but I don't respect him. And for me, I don't want a bitch's pussy. I want her soul.
Wow.
You ain't getting nobody's soul. The you think you are, Ghostbusters?
So men don't really acquire much of women. So
You do.
the things we do ask for have a lot of weight. Since we don't ask for much, each thing has more weight. And I would put at the top of the list is to not embarrass me with your promiscuity in the past.
He said I would put at the top of the list to not embarrass me with your promiscuity in the past. That doesn't even make any sense, my dude. You think you said something intelligent, but in this situation, you said a whole lot of words, but you didn't really say anything.
Because you said a lot there without really saying much. But
Grandiloquence, ladies and gentlemen, grandiloquence is happening. You can see here the root of what triggered him. The root of why he's so emotional is because he is afraid of his pride being hurt, right? It's pride, ego, power, control. It's the same boring things all the time. Don't embarrass me with what you did in the past. So to say don't embarrass me with something you did before we even knew each other doesn't even make any sense. Like, that is impossible. I want to take a look at a clip that went massively viral. So this is with, Marky Mark at the Funky Bunch and this girl, Brittany Renner. Now, I don't know anything about Brittany Renner. The way she handles bacon and eggs over here is golden.
So we walk in, you first see Brittany Renner, and we're thinking you're probably gonna be like, okay, hey, we're gonna have this great debate.
Men and women, we're very different. We have opposing goals. Like, girls are trying to, get resources, time, attention out of guys. Guys are trying to get sex. And
Again, he just loves reducing men down to one singular thing, which, sure, there are men who I guess they are just that one-dimensional and that's all they want in life. But again, that's not going to lead to a fulfilling life. We all know that. The science has proven it. And so then he's constantly saying that women are like higher, more multi-dimensional beings. I guess we're more well-rounded as human beings. So bully for you. I don't know.
like, girls are trying to, get resources, time, attention out of guys.
Yeah, that means that basically he has already established that in his mind, women are superior to him. And so the only way that he's willing to date them is if they suppress all that and are submissive to him. Because he's basically admitting he's like a dumbass right now. That that he doesn't want somebody smarter than him in his life. And if she is smarter than him, she needs to keep it on the down low, right?
What are we ain't talking about resources. We talking about like precious metals. We talking about like gold, silver, magnesium. What are these resources? I don't even know what that means.
Girls, a lot of the time, are trying to get what they need to get out of dudes without necessarily giving it up. And some girls are good at it, some girls aren't. And then there's other girls that are kind of models for that are good at finessing dudes. And not to say that you're a finesser, I ain't saying that, but girls are able to, run laps around a lot of guys. And that's why our podcast exists, to help dudes out to understand, like, how women operate and how they...
This, honestly, it sounds like it's just like, I don't even know if he really believes what he's saying. It sounds like he's just trying to get clicks at this point. That he's just trying to say some outrageous shit and get clicks on the internet. And, we've seen a lot of people do this, come up with dumbass shit just so that they try and get clicks. And some of them can get those clicks and some of them can't.
Wait. Where do you think she fits in that?
I mean, well, sure, she could tell. She was saying that we're wrong, I guess, about that.
Well,
So you tell us a little bit about yourself.
No, I think you know more about me than I do myself. So you're saying... No, obviously you do, though, because you said that you warn guys about girls like me. So tell me about girls like me.
Ooh, she did not come to play, okay? Bacon and eggs, you better get out the skillet. She about to fry your ass. Let's see where this goes.
Just
Humor
women in
me.
general. Like, I mean,
Well,
there's
no, don't women in general, because you literally specifically said before we got on here.
So off camera.
See, that's the thing. They can't speak specifically and directly to an individual woman. They speak in these broad generalities as if that is the way life is. Again, the black and white, tiny little bubble mentality. And she shut that down.
That's because they're incels, Swoop. They're incels. And they expect us to solve their problems for them. Because they feel that they are entitled to having women. Despite the fact that they don't want to do any of the work, the relationship work, to actually make that happen. That's where we're going here.
Is an example of a human being setting some boundaries in the conversation and saying, you know what? No, I asked you a specific question. I'm waiting for that specific answer. And you can't talk in generalities. You can't dance your way around this.
Off camera
That
conversation.
you did say that
That's true.
you warn guys about girls like me. So now that we're face to face, what kind of girl am I?
You're not special. You're like other girls. That's the
I'm
key.
not special.
Like,
So-
you're like other women that are
So
like...
what makes you special then?
Boom, roasted.
Boom. Roasted.
I think what this dude, what Bro-fessor over here has done, and Bro-tato tip over here, he's just like on the sidelines, but Bro-fessor, I feel like what he has done like a while long ago when he was starting out this grandmaster plan about he's gonna teach the truth, I feel like he just like made this list and memorized this list of like, here are all the things that I can call upon when I don't have anything actually of critical thinking, higher intelligence to contribute to a conversation or a debate. He pulls upon this list of things that I think will trigger the female. He just recalls this list. And so then she calls him out on it. He says, women aren't special, because the thing is, he knows that if he says, you're not special, you're just like every other girl, right? You're just like other girls, because it's a cliche thing. He's trying to trigger her, but she's too solid. And so then she puts it back on him.
That's the
I'm
key.
not special.
Like,
So-
you're like other women that are
So
like...
what makes you special then?
I never said I was. I'm trying to say, well, what makes me different from... Like, a lot of women operate the way you do.
You can see in his body language, he looks over to the side, he can't make eye contact when she makes a good point, and then he like goes down that list, that itemized list that he has kind of memorized over, like just regurgitating the same shit. Every podcast, it's the same shit. We've heard it long before these guys ever existed. He goes down that list and he's like, oh shit, I don't know what to... Oh wait, ding 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 ding, boot, let me choose item number 3. Okay, let me say something, and then you see the hand goes on the hip there, and he like just finally squares back up to her because he feels like he has made some type of point, right? And the irony is, his point is that he's not special.
Or
So
like,
what makes
But no. His entire shtick is that he's speaking to men who are struggling with dating, right? And he's trying to encourage them to hate women because they have their own personality problems in which they're unable to connect to women, because that's what it ultimately comes down to. Because you could have any body shape, you could look like anything, but if you're an asshole to the women around you, you're not going to get a fucking date. It's not going to happen.
You special then?
I never said I was.
Thanks for clarifying.
In general, what I just said before, women, it's a dance between the two genders.
And again, then he goes to the in general, and she had already set the boundary saying, no, 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 don't tell me about in general. Square up, man up, one-on-one. She's saying, tell me about me. He can't do that, so once again, he draws upon the in general. It's the second time he's done that.
Girls play the game better than guys. We talk about this openly on our podcast, and we're teaching guys how to not necessarily get finesse and get what they want out of girls, which a lot of the times is intimacy, but they're not able to get it. But girls are easily able to obtain money, time, resource, attention, whatever.
What are these resources, ma'am? Is like titanium, magnesium? Are we mining for gold?
It is. Girls are running laps around dudes, which is why podcasts like ours exist.
Again, this is the second time he's given the sales pitch for his podcast, because what's happening here is you have a female. Sorry, that just makes me laugh. You have a woman here. She has valid points, and it leaves him stumbling. It leaves him talking in generalities because he doesn't know how to address specifics. So this is the second time around he goes into generalities and delivers the sales pitch for his podcast, as he says, our podcast.
Girls play the game better than guys. We talk about this openly on our podcast.
That's why we have our podcast.
A lot
Okay, yes, I was definitely worried about this too.
to unpack here, because my first question to you is, what do you gain from telling girls that they're not special? How does that make you feel?
Ooh, setting those boundaries. Nah, bruh. You want to play a game? Let's go ahead and play a game. I'ma call you out.
I mean, I know everything is a joke, but I'm asking.
And then his response was just to sit there and chuckle. Broham over here, like bacon over here, he ain't got nothing to say this whole time but eggs. He just be running his mouth. It's not working for them. So when he doesn't have anything to say, he just laughs. He's hoping that's going to make her feel insecure. That's going to make her feel like she's being mocked and being laughed at.
It's nervous laughter. It's nervous laughter. He doesn't have an answer. He doesn't know how to get out of this. This is nervous laughter.
So then she's going to call him out on that.
Asking you a real question. So how does that make you feel? Because if I say you're a bitch ass, that does something.
Wait, I gotta play that back.
Because if I say you're a bitch ass, that does something for me.
She came with the fire. Look, she got the fire color hair. She got the heat in her statement. And he is just sitting there stunned. And here she is getting specific. She said, well, how does that make you feel? Because this is exactly how it makes me feel if I insult you or call you names or whatever. And you seem to not be able to answer my question about specifics. Add something to the conversation.
What if I call you, if I just say that, again, you're forgettable. That's why I didn't want to do your guys' podcast.
It's the second time she's called him forgettable.
It's forgettable. Hate the setup. The name is underwhelming. I didn't really see the value in it.
She is reading these dudes for filth. Ooh, they are stone silent.
That's how I feel, right.
We can read a lot into the body language of people. And so before, remember when I said he couldn't make eye contact because he didn't have anything to say when she roasted him the first time, right? He goes down his memorized list of what can I try to trigger this woman over, this female. Then he squares up, hands on the hip, shoulders are open, and now she has deflated him yet again. He literally physically is deflated. His shoulders are rounded in. Look at his back is like crumpled here. His posture is awful. And she is sitting upright. Shoulders are squared off to him, giving direct eye contact, hand gestures, all of that. And he is destroyed right now. His self-confidence.
Well, and I think the thing is right now too is that the takeaway from this, it's not just men. Women do this too. Like in various settings, whether it be like office settings or political settings or volunteer settings or whatever it is. If you were the aggressor in a situation and you were purposely trying to hurt somebody, you can get stinged back. And it's not going to go well for you. You know? That is not a great approach to take, to come after people just to be hurtful. And that's what he's doing in this scenario, is he's trying to come after women in general, but also this fellow person on the podcast, in a hurtful way. And you know, I could give this advice to several people I've met in politics, several people I've met in corporate America. If you're coming after people just to be hurtful, it's not going to go well for you. You might have like an initial win, but it's going to catch up to you.
Confidence has completely deflated. He'll never tell you that because there's too much ego to admit that, but body language says it all.
Because at the end of the day, I may not agree with anything you guys talk about. Because honestly, I feel like when you've seen 2 or 3 videos, you've seen them all.
Did I not say that? He's now pulled way back from the microphone. She's still sitting quite upright and very squared off, and he's backed way off now because the insecurity is just kind of washing over him. And
For you to say you're not special, well, I'm special to someone, just like you're special to someone, just like he's special to someone. So for you trying to generalize all groups of women, then we would have to take it back to where this even began. Like why you even have this view of women. And like I said.
And again, he's just chuckling here, he's laughing. What he's trying to do, because he doesn't have anything to say, he has not had anything to say in this entire conversation, that she has dominated and controlled and navigated the course of this particular conversation, and he can't handle that. So then he resorts to laughing and chuckling because he is that uncomfortable by the fact that she has dominated and controlled him through this whole thing.
But I'm saying when you make comments like, oh yeah, no women are special. So no woman is special, but yet you guys have a whole podcast dedicated how to get women.
That's what I've been saying. I am so glad she said that. No women are special, and I guess that would then mean no men are special, therefore no human beings are special, therefore why are we even talking about special? If no woman is special, then why are y'all thirsting for us? Now he'll say, because we just trying to get the S, but then if you just trying to get the S, then why are men taking your teaching and your course trying to keep a woman? Here's the thing, like if you need, and I hate that I can't even say this word, it's sex. If you need S, we'll call it S, then if you need it, I'm sorry bro, you lost. But if the only thing you want from women is S, if you need fresh p*** all the time, then like just go visit your local sex worker and she'll take care of you for a price. It's not personal, babe. It's just business. Problem solved. Oh wait, what? You a broke-ass man, bitch, and can't afford the rates of professional charges? Well, I guess you just out of luck then. Guess you didn't hustle hard enough to meet your basic needs in life. Meanwhile, women, who are apparently only using men for resources, time, mercury, precious metals,
Time, money, attention, resources, etc.
are the true kings. I guess in your equation, we won because we got the food, the water, the shelter, the car, the mental emotional health, the sex, and are enjoying life while you're going broke just trying to have the S because you need the S and all you want is the S. And guess what? You can't get what you want unless a woman permits you to have the S. That must make their basic bitch blood boil. That's alliteration, friends. I mean, like, unless you R-word a woman, but then you're just a child throwing a tantrum who will wind up in prison with other tantrum-throwing children. But don't worry, I'm sure you can get the S there. Unless something changes, this is just a sign of immaturity. They haven't grown, and they are therefore devoid of substance, humanity, and ultimately happiness. They're not gonna admit to that. They don't even necessarily know that yet, but it'll come back to haunt them.
Just for that's all you guys are. So you're saying men.
All right, I'm going to pause it here. I've covered quite a bit of it at this point. But holy shit, what is up with you? Like, look, obviously, hashtag not all men. But, oh my God, there's some of you out there that just have these weird expectations of women that you don't see us as equals in life, and you think that we're just going to be like your sex slaves. And she started out talking about Andrew Tate, but I didn't start at the beginning of this video. I will drop the link to this video, but holy crap, you guys. I mean, what's going on with the millennial gen? Because I think it's the millennials. I don't even think we're up to Gen Z yet, but that we have this kind of outrageous behavior going on, because we were starting to become more refined as a society, and now it seems like we're going backwards. Like, what the hell happened?